What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're going to check out Scorn again, but this time at 1440p, and that's where we will stop with the Asus, because hey, look at that, I've got points. Anyway, like I was saying in the last video, it doesn't make sense wasting time doing stuff nobody asked for, like the ultra-wide and 4K tests on every single game. Now, if somebody does want me to do it, feel free to ask. I don't mind doing requests at all, but I could have gotten so many more requests done if I had not wasted time doing that every single game. I feel kind of irritated at myself for not realizing that sooner. So now I'm only going to do 1440p and 1080p unless someone requests otherwise. That way we can get to the secondary and primary computer, and then we can get to the next game. So anyway, why don't we now just get OBS hooked up? I can grab my phone and just use that as a timer now instead of using the iPad, because now my phone isn't a viewfinder anymore. So let's hop on into the game, and then at the end we'll get some camera recorded gameplay too. Well, alright guys, let's start our 1440p adventure here. We're gonna start off on low again, no VSync or limiting frames of any kind here. And now, again, we've got sound. It's so nice. But now, we've reached the bottom. So, why don't we go ahead and hop on into the game? Well, here we go on low here, on 1440p. So let's just run around and see how it does. I don't think we're gonna have any super crazy bad stutters down to 30 FPS like we did when we had it hooked up to the capture computer. That thing was acting a little funny today. It updated, and then we had no audio for my 1080p, and it was way more stuttery than normal. So I don't know what was up with OBS's, but it said something about changing stuff, and that I was gonna have to reset some stuff. So I went and made sure all my settings were still good and still hit save and everything just to make sure everything was good. So I don't know what was going on with that, but hey, at least this thing's working good. But keep in mind this time, since we're using OBS to record just with no capture card, this one we do lose a couple FPS. Probably not much, but we still lose a little. So make sure you guys watch the camera recorded portion at the end if you want to see true FPS, at least of high. I'm not going through all of the different settings on camera like I used to. That just got to be too tedious and made the videos way too long sometimes. So this works a lot better. Just have a little camera gameplay at the end, and just keep in mind, if it can do high, no problem, camera recorded, it'll do any of the other settings, no problem. Just keep in mind though, with a lot of games, you get to a certain FPS point and it starts breaking them, making them more stuttery than they would be if you just locked the FPS to say 120 or maybe 144. And sometimes neither of those work either, and you just have to lock it to damn 60 like I had to do with Skyrim. There's probably a workaround, but with Skyrim, I tried to go higher than that, and I remember the first scene where you're in the horse carriage just started bouncing all around, and it just flew off into the sky because it was getting like 3,000 FPS or some bullshit like that. I didn't have any mods installed or anything. I didn't even think I changed the resolution to 4K or anything. I think it was at like 1080p or whatever it is stock, and yeah, that thing did not like it. FPS must be tied to the physics engine. A lot of games are like that. Anyway though, why don't we go ahead and move on? Well, it's on to medium we go. So let's just quickly look over these settings first. And again, it's so nice to have sound. I don't know what the heck was up with the no sound on the 1080p version, but hey, at least you guys got to see how it ran. Anyway, we've reached the bottom. Let's go hop into the game now and see how it does on medium. Well, let's get a little medium gameplay now at 1440p here. I dropped my lighter. Hopefully it didn't make too much noise, but this thing's pretty damn badass at noise cancellation. Half the time I have like my fans all going in the background, and I don't think they've ever shown up in any audio recordings of this particular microphone. Go Razer. Who would have known Razer would actually make a really badass mic? Now, truth be told, its audio quality can probably be surpassed by many mics that are way cheaper than it, but I like the plug and play of the USB and all of that stuff. So I decided to spend a little more. It's like 150 bucks, but I'm sure there's way more expensive professional mics than that too. Especially if you get into the good stuff like Rode. I just got some decent mics for my camera from Rode, and they're all badass, even the $80 one, which I was kind of worried about, but everybody said it sounded phenomenal, and it does. I don't need to spend any extra on that one. It's just a boom mic, shotgun mic to get gameplay videos with anyway. And then I've got my new one that I can clip to my shirt, since the DJI one seems to only work with itself. So now I've also got a little clip mic I can clip to my shirt so I can do unboxing videos and fixing videos, like when I open my laptop up to clean it or add something, what have you. That way, you can have the same audio the whole time no matter where I move, no matter what I do. That's the problem when you're just using the camera audio, I noticed. Before I got my stuff in, I was like, oh, well, if I turn my head or do anything and don't talk directly into the back of the camera, it sounds funky. Alright, though, let's head on back down here. So far, so good. It's doing pretty good, besides, you know, losing a couple FPS from OBS recording, but other than that, it's doing great. I don't think anybody would have a problem playing this at 138 FPS. Hell, this would be a fine game just at 60. It's not like it's super hardcore, twitchy first-person shooter. It's a puzzle game, for the most part. Not to say there's no combat ever, but the combat there probably is probably pretty rare. Anyway, let's move on. Well, we have made it to high, so let's just look through these settings really quick here. And then there's actually one more setting before we get into FSR, just called recommended, that we're doing after high, which seems a little different than what I usually do, but whatever. I'm just going in order, going to the right. Anyway, though, that's the bottom. Let's go see how it handles high. Well, here we are on high, so let's just walk around. Again, keep in mind OBS does eat up a couple FPS, so keep watching till the end, or skip with the chapters to the camera portion, and you'll see its true performance on high. But anyway, as in classic fashion, a lot of games, when we're on high settings, I might as well get high myself. So let's take ourselves another hit of this GMAT. It's 27%. Very freaking strong shit. And it tastes good too, which is the main thing I'm concerned about. Hell yeah. Good shit. Alright, good. And I left myself some green for 420. We're at 411 now, so I'll just wait till 420 to hit it. Again, what the hell is that weird thing? Looks like some fucking demonic torture device. Although I'm not gonna lie, almost everything in this game looks like some kind of demonic torture device. Or maybe a little alien mixed with some demonic? I don't know, man. This is definitely some weird-ass shit going on in this game, but it's pretty cool artwork and whatnot. It's not like the highest crazy graphics I've ever seen before, but definitely doesn't look bad either. And it runs alright. There's a stutter here and there, but it's not too bad. Alright, let's go back to the ground floor here. I wonder if the whole point is me getting all the way to the top. Because as I had no audio, I don't know if the game said anything. Probably not, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now, so I figure I'll just explore. Anyway, let's move on. Well, now we're going to do the recommended setting, so let's just go through these settings fast. And it seems like most things are on medium, anti-aliasing on low, and then textures are on high, and it's just similar to how I'd probably do it. But anyway, why don't we go hop in the game and see how this one does? Well, here we go. Recommended settings now. Get a little gameplay here. Again, keep in mind OBS takes away a few FPS, so probably get a couple more FPS than we're getting right now without it. And also, my computer is neutered a little bit. We got the CPU limited to 25 watts. Until I can, well, now my thermal compound's here, but until I got it, that's what I did to make it not just be 96 the whole freaking time, and 97, 98. It was getting hotter than 96 ever since I opened it up. And somebody made a good point. It's because I put the thermal pads in there. There's a reason they use thermal grease. Though they use more of a putty, I'm going to use more of a grease. I hope that's still okay. It shouldn't matter as long as it bridges the contact. And heck, maybe this will be even better than the putty, because the putty is still going to show more resistance than my thermal compound normal stuff. And this stuff's pretty thick too, so I'm just hoping it's not going to be hard to put on, but it shouldn't be. They give you spatulas. We just gotta go put it on the VRAM, the MOSFETs, and the chokes. Any place that I had a thermal pad, or had thermal grease before, it needs to have it again. And that's going to be the next video I do later today. But first I wanted to get done with all my voiceovers for the Scorn videos, so that's what I'm doing first, then I'll go and do that video. But I'll probably launch that one immediately, and this one will come way later, so people will start going, wait, what the heck are you talking about? I already saw that a long time ago. Well, yes. Usually when I do a video like that, I don't like making people wait. I like putting it out right front and center. Still, I wonder how much FPS I lose. Whoops. Walked right into a wall because I got distracted petting the cat. Anyway, let's walk up a few more steps here. I think that should be good. Now, let's move on. Well, now it is time to do FSR 2 on quality. And we're keeping the game on high because that's generally how most people are going to use FSR. They want to max the game out, but it doesn't quite hit the FPS you're wanting. So you turn FSR on, but I think this game doesn't really need it, but we're still going to do it to be thorough. So now let's go see how the game looks and how it does. Here we go with some FSR on quality. It's FSR 2, at least according to the settings menu. So let's just run around, see how it does. Now, most of the time on my Steam Deck, I don't notice a big performance jump because we're only at 1080p and it drops down to 720p. I feel like most of the time you just get yourself into a CPU bottleneck at that rate. Especially with the Steam Deck, because that's that thing's Achilles heel. They didn't put the world's strongest CPU in, it's just a Zen 2. When most of the other handhelds are now moving on to the Zen 3 with the 6800M, or 680M, I mean. Mine's the 6800, and it's kind of funny. That thing's CPU is 8 core, 16 threads, and it's way lower wattage than mine, and honestly, it's not that much behind mine. When I was seeing Cinebenches and whatnot, and single core, it actually beats mine a lot of the time, but I think that's just because mine's overheating and not getting the right stats, because a lot of other people I saw with my laptop were getting 1500 single core, and I can't even hit that. I'm always in the 1700 or 1470s or whatever. But whatever, I'm hoping that once I put the paste on everything will be good. But now, let's move on. Now for FSR 2 balanced here, so let's cruise through the settings. It's still all on high, but I like showing you guys there's no funny business going, and it also makes it a lot easier when I do the chapters on YouTube, instead of just trying to be like, okay, where did I talk and say we're on high now? You know? But anyway, let's go into the game now. Well, here we go, FSR 2 balanced here. Let's get a little gameplay in again. Definitely looks a lot more grainy. Oh, and it appears it's 420. So, let's take ourselves a 420 hit too. Hell yeah. Good big old 420 hit. But I think that thing is now pretty much cached. I might have a small little hit left in it. At least a hit that tastes good. It probably got way more than that. But after it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to sit there and hit it all the way down to the frickin' ash. Screw that. I go until it starts tasting bad, or it stops tasting good. Once it just tastes like ash and gross, it's like, okay, no. The whole point of this is to taste good weed. Why the heck ruin and sully that good taste in your mouth with nasty taste, right? Anyway, though, why don't we go ahead and move on? Up next here, we got some FSR 2 Performance. So let's just go over the settings here again, and then we'll hop on into the game. We've still got the game on high. And there we are. We've reached the bottom. So let's go ahead and hop back into the game now. Well, let's get a little FSR 2 Performance gameplay in here before we hop on over to the camera gameplay. Which, in case I didn't mention, it's going to be high with no FSR, because the game seems to run just fine without FSR. But with that, it's a lot easier to see where I'm supposed to, you know, stop, because I just do one. I don't do a bunch of different ones. So that's why I figured, why bother doing the settings? I can just tell you. Unless it's something complicated, like it's a game where I have to actually fiddle with something to make it have acceptable settings. Then I like to show you the settings. Because I'm sure you guys have noticed sometimes I do show you settings during camera gameplay. That is when I do that. Figured I'd just explain myself for the people that were wondering. Alrighty though, I think that's good. Why don't we go ahead and move on to camera now? Well, alright guys, let's get a little camera gameplay in. The game is just on high. Figured it could handle it no problem. So let's just run around, just have a little bit of some fun exploring. I feel like I've pretty much already explored everything there is to explore already, but it's all good. We'll just get a little gameplay anyway. This is a puzzle game, and I do like puzzles, but I'm kind of at a loss here. I feel like I've tried to hit everything I can try to hit, if that makes sense, because this thing doesn't work yet. That thing over there also doesn't work yet. I can use that thing to look around that. I combined turn these little lazy Susan things to connect this. So if I can figure out whatever gets this thing going, it'll at least go, but that's the fun part. We have to figure out how to get that part to work now. Actually, you know what I haven't tried? I haven't tried using this thing over here ever since getting the track all on one thing. So hey, maybe this will work now. Who knows? Well, not this one. Where's the other one? There it is. That one. Maybe this one will work now. Maybe not. Only one way to find out. Nope, still does not do anything yet. So there's got to be more to it than that. What else can we try? This still doesn't work, right? Nope, you can hit A all you want and nothing happens, okay? Now, there were some other things I could mess around with in some of these other rooms. But I didn't bother trying them because I figured that they just wouldn't do anything. But I guess we're at the point where we just gotta start hitting shit and hope something happens. If I remember this area, I kept having to look back and forth thinking something was gonna fucking jump out and kill me. So far I haven't seen enemies yet, but I'm assuming there's some eventually. Alright, what do you do? Alright, but there's nothing there, so alright. So again, we're probably supposed to use that later, but at least we found something else I can actually mess with. It's just not time yet. Alright, what about you? Nope, I've already gotten that. I think that's the thing that made my arm all weird in the first place, so I think we've already used that. We got our weird giant skull-looking things here that look like they suck your brain out, pretty much. Alright, that's just back to the weird little center thing. That's the window, so yeah, nowhere else to really go in that particular room. Pretty sure there's just junk in here, but let's double check. Some weird looking thing. Baskets or some shit? Huh, wonder what that's all about. Alright, that thing's like a fucking melon baller. The melon baller from hell. Alright, so yeah, still nothing to do there. Now, I thought nothing would happen here, but let's just try. Oh wow! I actually can go up. That's surprising. I figured that thing wasn't going to do shit. Well, this thing's definitely weird looking. Looks like a bunch of body parts. Alright, what else do we got around here? Well, we still get a little stutter, even when we're not recording. I was starting to think that was just while we were recording, but no, the game still has some stutters here and there. A lot of DirectX 12 games do. It's unfortunate. I wished it wasn't the case. Anyway though, I think that's enough camera gameplay, so why don't we now go and wrap this video on up? Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for Scorn at 1440p and a wrap for the Asus G15 Advantage. Now of course, if anybody does want to see how it runs on ultra wide or 4K, just let me know in the comments and I'd sure as heck don't mind making you a personalized video. But it just doesn't seem like there's any point in me doing it if no one's watching them, you know? So, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the secondary computer. But I do hope you enjoyed this particular video, because I think it did a pretty good job. It was a little stuttery here and there, and you gotta keep in mind when we use OBS, you lose some performance, but it is what it is. That's why I always do the camera portion. Anyway though, I'm blabbering on and on. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure as hell enjoyed making it, and until the next one, peace out guys.